Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I'm taking my first look at Rats, a game of furry fury. And this is by Uri Kurlianchik. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Um, so, about a week ago, Yuri reached out to me and he said, "Hey, you know what? I created this RPG, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind taking a look at it, and if you felt comfortable, with that, and wanted to do a review. I mean, he'd certainly welcome it." So I told him, "Sure, I'll take a look at it." And my expectations was that this was going to be an RPG, running, 50, 80 pages long. When I opened it up, I think I opened it up around like Sunday night. And I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, this thing is like 200 pages long. And I started flipping through it really briefly because it was kind of late Sunday night that I got to it. And I started flipping through it, and it is far more complex, not difficult to understand, but just far more complex and multi-layered aspect to this game. It really was impressive, and I started thinking to myself, "Oh, wait a second! I do want to do a first look and kind of page through just some of this here, but I was really expecting something much smaller than what it is, and that's a good thing because my surprise was a welcome surprise. So I will be spending several episodes with this game system because it really is detailed, and it's something that clearly a lot of time and effort and care were put into its layout, its writing, and its system. So I'm going to break this down into a number of different pieces, and once I go through this whole thing, this is definitely something that I'm going to purchase a hard copy of because it would be nice on my shelf, and that's something that I want to do in order to throw some support over to Yuri as well. So without further ado, let's start taking a look at Rats, a game of furry fun. So here we go. So 288 pages, which I was like, oh my God, it really did surprise me. And again, a pleasant surprise. So just looking at the cover, kill all humans, boom, boom, mine. So the earth is mine, death. They love cheese, pizza. Oh yeah, I've seen there was that thing that the subway rat in New York City dragging a slice of pizza down a flight of stairs. Awake, okay. Looks like a nuclear blast. Um, Destruction, break the cage, anarchy. So a lot of cool imagery. I like that the fact that this looks like a paw print, so that's pretty cool too. So does this up over here. Um, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but that's pretty cool if it is. And so this was a game made in 2020. Um, I believe he kickstarted it. So not quite sure, but I believe he kickstarted it. It was play tested by quite a number of people, so that's good to see as well. Special thanks to quite a number of people. Let's see, artwork. Illustrations are by Eva Iskovich, Hugo Solis, Jamie Keys, Stav Levy, and Jan Kleiman. I always like to kind of point out the artists that are involved in different projects as well. So as you can see, the contents: wake up to fail. Well, we will take a look at that. Blame your parents, and we will go through. I'm not quite sure how far I'm going to take this first look. Um, I will probably just scan through quite a bit here, and then I'll focus on the, what is the what is the theme and the idea behind this game, and then I'll do character creation, and then go to the next to the next stages of talking about the rules and everything. But everything seems to be called blame your. So blame your parents, blame your culture, blame the world, blame your teachers, blame the rules, blame your dreams, blame your technology, blame your enemies, blame your God, blame your ignorance, blame your first mission, and go to bed defeated. So let's see what we're talking about here. I do love the artwork. The artwork is pretty cool. Wake up to fail. If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. Ramsay Snow, Game of Rats. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get the idea of this. So you're sitting in your warren surrounded by siblings and other runts, their twitchy little noses poking you in unmentionable places, and you're thinking to yourself, what is this stack of papers I'm gnawing on? What is it all about? Maybe it's worth reading before eating. Congratulations, you're a young rodent. By asking yourself these questions, you've already made your first step towards awakening. Soon you will know greatness, maybe even become a learned theologian or a famous mansplainer. Have no doubts, young friend. God the rat is most great, and he loves you very much indeed. However, this love is not unconditional. To earn it, you're going to have to kill some things. Oh, speaking of conditions, by the conditions of that dead cat over there, I see that you already have some experience in the art of killing in the name of God the rat. Yes, that carcass smells quite delicious. You will hear no argument from this old rodent. Why? I won't mind one bit a nibble myself. Now, seeing as you are free from the pangs of hunger, kindly allow me to satisfy your hunger for the knowledge and the religion. Sit on your tail, shut your maw, and raise your ears. I have so much to teach you. Rats, book RPG explained now. All right, so Rats is a role playing game about rats, much like you and I, who go on heroic missions against the human enemy in order to reclaim the world he has stolen from us. Each player takes on the role of a single rat in this epic struggle against injustice. The player is the author of its destiny and the master of its desires. All its abilities, powers, background, possessions, and traits are written on a character sheet. This way, players can know the strong and weak points of their rat characters as and make decisions accordingly. The road to glory is wrought with many challenges: humans, heretics, atheists, and revisionists, the nightmares of the dreaming, uh, the nightmares of the dreaming, spring traps, glue traps, cage traps, and even electric traps. A mysterious figure called the Exterminator, a huge and terrifying dragon called Cinnamon, and many, many other dangers. You see, the world isn't a very nice place for a rat. This is why we're taking it back to make it right again, like was supposed to be before the humans stole it and turned it into the toxic hell of traps and poisons and ignorance it is today. All these dangers represented by the Ratcontor. The Raconteur is the charge of the creation and maintenance of the setting. In fact, the Raconteur places everything that isn't one of the player character's PC. Here is an eyes, ears, and of course, the nose in the hazardous world of rats. All right, so the Raconteur, I guess, is the DM. All right, so That is what, at least that's what I'm gaining from this here. As you survive harder and more complicated missions, your rat character becomes more powerful. It learns new skills, masters new teachings, mutates into weird and wonderful new forms, and uncovers secrets that would drive lesser rats insane. The rat cantor, never failing to oblige, pits you against increasingly deadlier and more complicated challenges, ensuring the cycle of violence and, let's see, ensuring the cycle of violence never ends. Good, like, want to how, good, like, want to how use book. Okay. Um, so how to use the book. Let's see, wake up to fail. You have already read this section, so that's kind of the gist of the game, right? So you are playing a rat in obviously a human world, and you are looking to retake over the world from the human oppressors, and that's kind of where it's going to go. So blame your parents, base rules for the generation and advancement of rat characters. If you don't plan to play the raconteur, the that should be capitalized, by the way. This chapter should be enough to get you started. Blame your culture. Our society is nothing if not diverse. In this chapter, you will find descriptions of the major rat cultures and the unique privileges each culture bestows on its elite members. Blame the world, the true history and current situation of the world according to the orthodox rat theology and politically approved historical bulletins. Don't kill humans just for fun and profit. Kill them for honor, justice, and the rodent way. Blame your teachers. Detailed descriptions of the tricks and teachings rats can learn throughout their career in order to gain magnificent powers and survive unspeakable horrors. Blame the rules. The rules used for the action resolution in rats. The rat cantor, I'm going to struggle with that word, uh, should know this chapter like the back of his paw. Players are advised to have at least a vague idea on how the game works, or they risk making utterly inadequate decisions and martyring their rats earlier than intended. Blame technology. Every item you can think of, ranging from toothpicks to and so on. So um, that's going to be the equipment section, or traps and poisons and diseases and so on. Blame your enemies. The world is full of creatures that are not rats, and so this is going to be the monster section. Um, there is also a dragon in there somewhere, so be careful. We'll make sure I focus on what their concept of a dragon is. Blame your dreams. The minds of all sleeping rats join in a nightmarish domain of violence and madness known as the dreaming. Here you will get a one-on-one course on this deranged universe, its perverse physics, and its native flora and fauna. Blame God. God the rat likes to challenge the faithful who are in turn grateful for the increasingly sadistic opportunities to prove their faith. So I guess there's some kind of a theology for the rats. Blame your ignorance. While we expect all other books in the world to be eventually burned to make more room for more copies of this book, for now you can benefit from consulting them with the inspiration of getting a feel for the game right. Okay. Uh, Blame your first mission. So there will be a first adventure in this. I don't know if that was a box set that it came out in. If it did, if that was part of the Kickstarter, that looks pretty cool. Um, and so we are going to get into blame your parents. So let's see how far we're going to go through here. Humans think that all rats are the same, but in reality, rats are just as diverse as their furless brutes who have stolen and mutilated the world. So, Hal is an expert mercenary. Let's see what we're going to get here. Capone is a loner with an environmental consciousness who fled his oppressive warren after he was ordered to kill. Null is an internet celebrity who gained, so I guess these are like almost NPCs, um, is an internet celebrity who gained an odd awakening in a human laboratory. Instead of joining the Warren, he went up in the internets with some next level podcast. Null is a lol rat. All right. Void is his brother from another mother. He is a raving lunatic who can never tell if he is sleeping or awake, a maniacal, murdering psychopath who doubts the existence of everything except himself and his brother. Void is a Horat. Um, and then we'll get into character. Actually, let's do the Starhan is a flying rat with an ego so big it is unclear how his wings can lift him. Uh, so he is a garrote. And then we'll get into character generation. I'm just going to take a real quick look at here. So let's see what the attributes are. Abilities, let's see. So the races, let's go background. Races are black, brown, white, swamp, and Gambian. Culture is blood rats, corporats, dark rats, first rats, gerats, jurats, or gear rats, I'm sorry, gear rats, gurats, horats, lol rats, Nezumi, pirates, pocket rats, ratagan, road rats, scrats, techno rats, under rats, and unirats. Tricks, I guess they have tricks of awesome, brainy, dreamy, which is optional, cute, noisy, soulful, speedy, toothy, and violent. Habitat, roll on the table. Abilities, distribute 10 traits between ferocity, survival, cunning, and luck. So there were 4 ability scores: ferocity, survival, cunning, and luck. I actually like those. Those are pretty cool for a game based on rats. Uh, Skills, distribute 10 traits between boss, dig, dream, which is optional, heal, kill, man sense, mouse, prey, scurry, sense, study, talk, and tinker. A skill cannot be allocated more than 5 traits. Okay. Um, Instinct, you start with 7 instinct traits. Providence, you start with 2 providence traits. Carrying, optional, you start with 10 carrying traits. Equipment, roll 3 times on a random tables in blame technology. You may re-roll identical results and go for the kill. And so I'm not going to go any further into just talking really basically about the character generation. So it seems that this is going to be kind of complex. And as you can see, I mean, there are ability scores, there are skills, there are instinct traits, there are providence traits, carrying traits, and equipment. You're also going to select your character's background between several different races, um, several different, a dozen cult, a dozen cultures, choosing tricks. This is what I meant by when I first started looking through this. I was like, wow, this is a much more complex game than I thought it was going to be. And again, that's a good thing. So the next video that I do for this, I am going to actually go through in detail character creation. So we will create a rat together and see how that works out. and then I'll go into, I guess, the game mechanics, and then get into the lore of the world, and maybe talk a little bit about actually running the game. And so, any tips or anything that might be in there as far as generating adventures for rat characters. So, you know, yeah, this is a really interesting first look for myself when I was going through it the very first time, and I was like, wow, this is um surprisingly detailed, and it looks like it's going to be pretty cool and a lot of fun. So I hope you like this video, and look for, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hit the alert button so that you know when the next video in this series is going to drop, and then take a look at some of my other videos, and other collections of series of videos, to check those out as well. So, as always, thanks for joining. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. I know this is a Saturday. I usually don't do videos on Saturday, but I wanted to get caught up on this as well. So, and I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. And maybe it'll be for a one shot, and I'll be running rats for a group of people. So that'll be pretty cool. So, you all have a great afternoon. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.